Hi Nikhil, how are you?
Fine, sir.
Okay, can you tell us
Thank
something
you.
about yourself? Yes, Nikhil, you are telling something?
Okay, sir. I am Nikhil Pachlod. I am from the Kadoli in Jalgaon district. I have completed a diploma in automobile engineering from MSBT University. I have completed a degree in mechanical engineering from Sri Gulabrao Devkar College of Engineering, Jalgaon, and I am pass out student of 2021. Uh, I have done my school education in a newly school Kadoli in my village school. Talking about my project, I have completed the two projects in my academic. First project is a diploma project. This name is push-based box transmission mechanism. And second project is degree project. This name is 3-axis unloading pneumatic dipper. Talking about my strength, I am hardworking, quick learner, always ready to learn the new things, and always ready to acquire the new knowledge. Means to gain the new knowledge. I joined the TCS at the 30 December. Okay,
Okay, so thank you so
can
much.
I continue?
Yeah, so
Can I continue?
I think you are already done with the introduction. Thank you so much for introducing yourself, right? Now, see, you have actually completed mechanical engineering, and now you are looking
Yes,
for a
yes.
job in software testing. So why you are looking for a job in software testing? That is a key point that you need to explain in an interview when you are introducing yourself, because that is going to be the second question of your interview, right? Why you are looking for a job in software testing. So before they ask, it is good to get things clarified. You are looking for a job in software testing because, right, there can be XYZ reason, there can be multiple reasons, there can be a single concrete reason behind that, right? So that you have to explain, right? And telling about your projects, whichever projects you have done, those were mechanical projects, right? Related to mechanical domain,
Yes.
which will not be that much useful as you are going into the IT industry now. If you would have been going into the mechanical job, if you are being interviewed for a mechanical engineering job, then you can mention those projects. Those are those will highlight actually the positive thing in your interview. But telling something about the projects which are of non-IT background won't help you to get a job in software testing. Okay. Now, if you really want to tell something about projects, then what you should do? You should do some projects related to software testing, right? Maybe if you would have joined some institute, you have done some coaching, you have done some job in TCS, right? So in TCS, was it a IT based job? Like, was it software testing related job? Or what was that? So if it is related to software testing, if it is pertaining to software testing, then you can tell all those things. Apart from that, you will have to do some ISTQB foundation level certification or some other certification, some other testing related certification that should be there, which is there in your CV, as well as you can tell in your introduction of yourself. Okay. So those
Okay.
things you will have to take care. Okay. Now,
Okay.
which are the
I will.
principles? Yes, please go ahead.
Okay. I will tell my interview. I mean introduction. In my introduction, I will tell about the project, but due to the network issue, this happened. Means I cannot say the more about this.
Uh, yeah, so network issue is okay. So you were about to explain in an introduction to yourself about the projects that were related to testing, right?
Actually,
Mhm.
okay.
Okay, you
We
have.
continue, sir.
Okay, so have you done some projects related to testing? So you can mention it now. It would be good. If you haven't done, then we can continue with the next question.
No, sir. You can continue with the next question because I have only basic knowledge of the manual testing,
Hmm.
such as a SDLC, STLC, models, test cases, test scenario, functional testing, etc. And I have the basic idea about how to write the test cases and a test scenario. I have completed the one assignment in my company to write down the test cases of the Ultimatic application.
Hmm. Yes.
Means
So,
I have been written the test cases of the Outlook application also.
hmm.
Uh, I have written uh, I have written the test cases of apply loop functionality, logging functionality, course enroll functionality, etc.
Okay, great. So this not about Outlook, but before that you mentioned some application, Ultimatics application, right? So that thing you can
Yes.
highlight as one of the project in which you did end-to-end testing, you wrote test cases, right? You wrote some test scenarios, you did some end-to-end testing, and that's how you can map it with a sort of testing experience. Okay. Then whichever the other things you were mentioning, like Outlook application or some other things that you have knowledge of this, so that is fine. That is that can be seen in your CV that you have got an experience, you have got a knowledge in manual testing, right? So accordingly you can answer. Okay. Now, which are the principles on software testing?
Principles. Um, Actually, don't know, sir.
Mhm. Okay. Now, this is again a part of manual testing, right? Okay. So, as this is a mock interview, so I'll tell you the answer of this question. But if it is asked in a real-time interview, you should be prepared to give answer. Okay. So, the very first principle is testing shows presence of defects. Okay. Then second is exhaustive testing is not possible, right? Then third is early testing. Fourth is defect clustering. Fifth is pesticide paradox. Sixth is testing is context dependent. And seventh is absence of error fallacy. Okay, so these are the 7 principles of testing, basically. Okay. So,
Okay.
do you want me to explain what are these principles of testing?
Yes, sir. Can
Okay,
you explain this
okay,
in details,
sure,
which will help me?
sure. So, exhaustive testing is not possible, which means that um, everything is not possible to be tested, right? So we actually need the optimal amount of testing based on the risk assessment of the application. It is not possible to test each and every combination. Let's take a simple example of a calculator. There are so many combinations of that calculator. Let's say if you add one number or if you add two numbers, if you add or subtract multiple numbers, then to what extent you will test, right? So that is not possible, right? Then defect clustering is nothing but it would help you. Sometimes, what happens is there are small functionality or features or small modules which will contain most of the defects, right? So, so, so in this manner, you can come to the root cause. Okay. So you will be identifying that these particular problems are there in this much functionality. So that's how you can try fixing it, right? So you can say 80% of the problems are almost found in the 20% of the modules, right? If same
Okay.
tests are repeated over and over again, so eventually the same test cases will no longer be able to find the new bugs. So now we are coming to pesticide paradox, right? So pesticide paradox means if you are trying to test in the same manner, if you are trying to perform testing in the repetitive fashion as you did earlier, then you won't be able to get any new bugs or any new defects. So test cases need to be regularly reviewed, updated. It is very important to add new and different test cases to help find more defects, right? Then testing shows presence of defects. Okay. So whenever you are testing, you cannot tell that this application is fully stable. there is no problem or there is no bug in this until and unless, it has been thoroughly tested. So every time you will be able to find defect, right? Early testing means we need to start testing as early as possible. As soon as, let's say, out of 100%, 5 or 10% coding has been done, then we will quickly start with the testing. We should quickly start with the testing, because if we itself will start late, then it would be difficult for the developers, and for us also the cost of fixing and the time of fixing will also increase, right? So that is. And then testing is context dependent. Let's say if it's an e-commerce based application, then your way how you will test that particular application would be different compared to if you are testing some investment banking domain application, right? So all the softwares which are being developed are not identical. So for every application, you need a different approach, right?
Okay.
So these are the principles of software testing. Okay. Okay. Now, how will you test a Zoom application, right? We are connected on Zoom. So how will you test this Zoom application? Can you tell me high level test scenarios, positive, negative?
Yes, sir. In the Zoom level application, first I check the URL. Hello,
Oh, hello. Yes.
am I
Please take
audible?
it. Yes, yes, you're audible. Yeah.
Yes. Means can I say the Zoom application test cases as a logging view, or as a user ID or password view?
In the Zoom application, you will need user ID, password, or you can also log in via Google account,
Okay, okay,
right?
okay.
How will you test this
Okay.
Zoom application? Yeah.
Okay, first I will check the logging functionality. Means first I will enter the valid credential in the user ID and password. Then I will check validate the login functionality with valid input. Means I will put the valid user ID and valid password. If this get the proper message or not, or application is successfully logging or not. Then I will check the Zoom application with invalid details. Means I will put the incorrect ID or a correct password, and check is this give the error message or not. And then I will click the login button without entering the data. Without entering the data, and check is this give the error message, please enter the credential or not. After logging, I will check the uh, mute and unmute functionality. This button is working properly or not. Then I will check the video quality. Means video button is able to clickable or not. Then I will check the quality of the camera. Means the person is properly visible in the camera or not. Then I will check the messaging functionality. Means the user is able to send the message or not. Then I will check the screen sharing functionality. Means the user is able to share the screen or not. Then I will check the recording functionality. Then the user is able to record the meeting or not. Then I will check the participant is properly view in the participant section or not.
Okay. Then you can also verify the functionality of changing your background, whether you can change the background of the image, or you can blur the image, right? Then you can also verify your name is being displayed properly, or the functionality of renaming your name also, that is also possible. Then you can also verify after 40 minutes, if it's a free account. So after 40 minutes, it will just, log you out from the meeting. The meeting will end. And after 30 minutes, it will start a timer that you have only 10 more minutes left for the meeting, right? If it's a paid account, then these messages should not happen. You should be able to continue meeting after 40 minutes as well, right? Then you can also verify option to to send the reactions, right? There are many reactions that you can send. You can also verify if the whiteboard option is working, if the chat option is working, right? Then you can verify the number of participants being displayed. Let's say if now, as of now in this Zoom bridge, we two are only connected. So in the participants, it will show you the number 2 over there, right? Then you can also verify the view option, which are the different options of view, whether you want to see the gallery view or you want to see the full screen, speaker view, immersive. So those are the various options that you would get over there, right? Then you can also verify whether the video filter or video settings are working properly or not. You can verify whether pause option is working properly or not, right? Then you can verify if any other person is joining, then accordingly the Zoom screen will display, right? It would divide the whole screen into the 3 or number of participants that are there in the meeting, right? Then yeah, I think those are good test scenarios for Zoom application,
Okay.
right? Okay. Now, can you give me an example of a defect with high severity and low priority?
High severity and a low
Low
priority.
priority.
Okay, high severity, low priority. ATM vending machine. Suppose we enter the card in the ATM and we enter the user means we enter the password means we proceed the ATM withdrawal functionality and money is deducted in our account and ATM machine would not dispense the money. This is the example of the high severity, low priority.
Okay. So you have entered the amount which you have to, get from the ATM machine. That number you have entered, but money is not coming out. So it would be high severity, high priority defect. It won't be a low priority defect. I'm asking the defect with an example of high severity and low priority.
High severity and low priority. Actually, severity means degree of the impact of the defect on the software application, right? And the priority means which defect should be resolved, right? High severity, low priority. Okay, means suppose login functionality. If we type the correct username and a password, the system does not log in successfully. This is the example of the high severity and a low priority.
Okay, so it's an login screen, right? Now you have entered the correct credentials, but the login itself is not happening. So it would be a high severity issue. So priority will also be high. It won't be a low priority because you won't be able to log in only without, you won't be able to use that application without login into the application, right?
Okay.
So I'm looking for an example of a defect with high severity and low priority.
High severity. No, sir, please, can you explain?
Okay, I'll give you the answer. But before that, I will request all the viewers who are watching this video to give the answer of this question, example of a defect with high severity and low priority. Okay. So when it comes to high severity, so you can take example of any critical exception or application is getting crashed, right? So those kind of examples you can give. But in such cases, the priority will also be high. Now we need the example with a low priority, means the exception is coming, but that functionality is going to be used by the customer in the upcoming days or in the upcoming future time, let's say after 1 month. It's not a part of this sprint. It's not a part of the delivery that you have to do. Okay. For example, now today is, let's take an example. Today is Sunday. Okay. Now, after 1 month, whichever Sunday is going to come, that application or that functionality would be used by the customer on that Sunday. So that functionality is not working now. So crash is happening. So that is fine. It's a high severity, but priority will be low because as of now, the customer or client is not going to use that functionality today. They are going to use it in the future. It's not a priority for now to fix that defect as soon as possible. Okay. If it's a high severity, high priority, then you need to fix it as soon as possible. But if it's a high severity and low priority, then you can have a word, have a conversation with the people, and then you can discuss with them, okay, this defect is a low priority defect. It will be used by the customer after 1 month or 2 months. So it won't be a priority for me. Clear?
Okay.
Are you getting it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. Okay. Now, can you tell me something about the defect life cycle? Which are the various stages in the defect life cycle?
Okay. Defect life cycle or the bug life cycle in the software testing is the specific set of the state that the defect or a bug goes through in it. There are the various phases the defect goes through it. The first phase is a new. If the defect is posted for the first time, it gives a status as a new. Assign tester find the defect and send the defect to the project manager for analyzing. Project manager analyze the defect and assign to the developer. It gives a status as a assign. And the next is a open. Developer actually analyzing and working on the defect piece. This is a status as a open. Fix. Developer make a necessary code change. This is a status as a fix. This is a status as a fix. Pending to retest. After fix the defect, developer after fix the defects, send to the tester for a retesting. But the tester does not test the defects, means it is a pending for the retesting. It is a status as a retesting. It is a status as a pending retest and a retesting. Testing the defect again after it fixed by the developer. This is a status as a retesting. Verified. At the time of the retesting, tester does not get any defect or the error. Application is a working fine. This is status as a verified. This means tester gives the status that defect as a verified. Defer means which defect tester got at time. This defect is not the prime priority to solve now. This defect gives the tester status as a defer. Means this defect would be solved in the next release. This defect gives a status as a defer. Duplicate.
No, defer
Okay, duplicate.
status. Yeah, defect with a defer status won't be solved in the next release. Right? So that you have to take care. The defect which is new, which is open, which is a valid defect, that would be fixed in the release. But the defect with the status as deferred will not be fixed, right? And
Okay.
yeah, and second thing is you were mentioning something about retesting status, but there won't be any status with a retesting, right? There will be a status of new, then new, open, fixed, then tested, then closed, right? So assigned will be one of the status when the tester would be assigned some particular defect for testing, right?
Okay.
Okay.
Actually, in the theory part, I have read this.
Yes,
That's
yes.
why.
So you have to again go through, revisit all the theoretical concepts of testing, right? Then practical also you will have to revisit. Also, you will have to do some brainstorming on what kind of test scenario based questions would be asked, right? For example, we just discussed about um, the functionalities like the scenario of Zoom application, test scenario of Zoom application. So such kind of questions can come to you, and you have to try to cover more and more test scenarios of such kind of questions. Okay, you should be able to answer till 8 to 10 minutes with positive test cases, negative test cases, performance, right? So all these things you have to cover.
Okay.
Okay, Nikhil, I'm done with the interview. Do you have any questions for me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, tell me.
What improvement should I do
Okay.
to clear the real-time interview?
Yes. So you have to work more on scenario-based questions. Like I was asking you about test scenario-based questions, right? Like on Zoom, how will you test Zoom application, right? So scenario-based questions you have to cover. You have to improve your logical and analytical skills, right? Like how will you test this particular application? How will you test any object, any application if given to you? Which are the various test scenarios that you will test? Maybe from functional testing point of view, from non-functional testing point of view, right? Then you have to revisit theoretical concepts as well, right? Like principles of testing, then defects with high severity, low priority, low severity, high priority, high severity, high priority, low severity, low priority. These kind of things you have to take care.
Okay. And
Mhm.
which question means you asked me the question of the defect life cycle. I have given this answer. Am I means have I given the answer right or wrong?
Yeah, it was partially correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. And I also gave the answer of the Zoom login functionality.
Yeah.
Is this also partially correct?
Yeah, that was partially good. Other test scenarios that also I mentioned. So those also you can include in your answer in a real-time interview whenever you go for an interview. Okay. But you will have to be prepared. You have to get that confidence. So once you are done with manual testing, then revisit all the concepts again. Keep revision, keep doing revision. Okay. And that's how you can get a good job, right? And definitely you will get a good job in software testing very soon. Right. So don't worry about all those things and wish you all the best for your career.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Nikhil, for coming on the channel. It was nice talking to you. Have a great day ahead. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you very much.